Welcome to the DY Prize channel. I'm your guy, DY Fly. In this video, we're talking about week 2 start sits, better known as who's going deep and who's pump faking. But first, I want to give a shout out to everyone who got a win in week 1. I mean, you never want to be behind in this fantasy game. So starting off strong and getting a win, you never know what's going to happen down the line. So shout outs to everybody who got a dub. But there's been a lot of news breaking, a lot of injuries that's come in. But hopefully in this video, I can help you out and get a couple people to fill into your rosters. But let's get into it. First up are the quarterbacks. Who's going deep? Daniel Jones facing the Washington Redskins. Now, I know Giants fans were probably calling the radio station, calling for everybody's head, from the owner, the GM, Brian Daboll, and most definitely Daniel Jones, especially seeing Saquon go off for my beloved Eagles. But this matchup against the Redskins might be what the doctor ordered. The Redskins are filled with a bunch of jobbers in the secondary, and they gave up the 4th most passing yards in week 1 and the most touchdowns with 4. So if you had an injury to Jordan Love, or you're not feeling comfortable with the next guy we're about to bring up, start Daniel Jones with confidence, because
going deep, he's got him.
On to who's pump faking, and that is Kirk Cousins versus the Eagles defense. Let me show you a little clip. Do you see? He's not moving off his spot. All right, he can barely move. He's a statue back there. I know the Eagles defense, they were terrible last year, but they've gotten a lot better, and Vic Fangio's going to put the pressure up the middle with Jalen Carter and those defensive ends and those tackles. And I think this is going to be a really bad day for Kirk Cousins. He only managed to put up 155 yards, but the Steelers D last week, they got 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, a couple pass deflections, and a couple quarterback hits. Kirk Cousins is a statue back there. You do not want to trust him.
Can't do it.
And they're on a away game at the Link. It's bad news for kinfolk Kirk, but trust me when I say Kirk,
you ain't balling, you pump faking.
On to the running backs. Who's going deep? I'd never thought I'd have to put this man on this list, but Derrick Henry, King Henry himself. But no lie, last week Derrick Henry looked like the bust Jerome Bettis. The good news is J.K. Dobbins ran for 135 yards and a touchdown off of 10 attempts. Even if you take away his long of the day, which was 61 yards, that still leaves 84 yards off of 9 attempts. Especially if the Ravens are in control of this game and salt away the lead, King Henry should eat. Start King Henry because he's
going deep. He's got him.
On to who's pump faking. Aaron Jones versus the 49ers. Now, I hope Aaron Jones helped you win last week, because that won't be the case this week. The 49ers D held the Jets to 68 yards and an anemic 3.6 yards per carry. But if the 49ers get up on the Vikings early, they'll have to throw to get back into the game. And who would Sam Darnold rather throw to? Aaron Jones or Justin Jefferson? Now, Aaron Jones might get there through the catches, but I'm going to bet against that. This week, Aaron Jones.
You ain't balling, you pump faking.
Who's going deep for the wide receivers? Maliknabers versus the Washington Redskins. This goes off of what I said about Daniel Jones. If there was a get-right game to really have his coming out party, this is it. And Maliknabers coming into town playing the Redskins secondary is like The Rock coming back and laying the smack down on Eugene, hitting them with a rock bottom, one big catch for 80 yards. And then getting the crowd all lathered up for the people's elbow. Wham! That's another catch for another 60 yards. 1, 2, 3. I don't care about that jabroni Wan'Dale Robinson getting 12 targets. This is a Maliknabers game. It has to be, or heads are rolling. Start Maliknabers with confidence because he is
going deep. He's got him.
On to who's pump faking. My man George Pickens versus the Denver Broncos. Now, I know George is the only wide receiver on Pittsburgh right now, but this has the lowest game total of the week, and he's facing Pat Surtain too. Last week, he held DK Metcalf to only 4 targets for 3 catches and 29 yards. It's going to be tough sledding for George Pickens to get off on this one. I would say if you have a better option, go with that. but I understand if you can't sit him. But this week, George,
You ain't balling, you pump faking.
moving on to the tight ends. My man Juwan Johnson versus the Dallas Cowboys. Last week, before David Njoku went out with an injury, he had 4 catches for 44 yards. When Jordan Akins came in for relief, he tacked on another 3 receptions for 27 yards. They combined for 9 targets. So it seems like the Dallas Cowboys D is vulnerable over the middle, and Juwan Johnson also got a red zone target last week. If he's healthy, go ahead and start my man Magic Don Juan Johnson. He is
Going deep. He's got him.
on to who's pump faking for the tight ends. We have Kobe Shaky Hands Parkinson's versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, last week, the Bills and the Cardinals got into a 34-28 shootout. Now, a lot of fantasy analysts' number 1 ranked tight end, Dalton Kincaid, was only held to 1 catch, but just 2 targets. That's because of the linebacker duo of Kaiser White and Mack Wilson. They are exceptional in coverage. Now, Kobe's name has been heating up as of late because of the injuries that the Rams are dealing with, and he's attached to that high-flying offense. But this week, I think it'll be more to the receivers. He's going to have to wait a week to get off because Kobe,
You ain't balling, you pump faking.
who's going deep for the defense? The Chargers versus the Panthers. Now look, it's simply put like this. I don't want to hear shit about Dave Canales or his scheme until Deontay Johnson starts giving me some points.
Going deep. He's got him.
Now, who's pump faking for the defense? I say it's the Green Bay Packers versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Green Bay, they are at home, but Anthony Richardson is an animal, and I think he's going to put up some points. Shane Steichen is going to scheme up some guys to get open. Green Bay's defense, they got a couple dogs, but they can be had, as you saw with Philly last week. They like to give up the big play, and they're not always awake. So if Green Bay's been your defense, I would put these guys to the side and find another defense to stream this week, because the Green Bay Packers defense.
You ain't balling, you pump faking.
But that's all I got. If you like the content, like, comment, share, subscribe. But I will be back next week for week 3 start sits, otherwise known as who's going deep and who's pump faking. But if you don't like that, you know the deal.
Nigga, you gonna get down or you gonna fucking lay down?